Hello, this is Mary Harris from Paper Crow. Thanks for joining me today. I'm working on more postcard projects so that I can highlight the writing but cover up the ugly images. These both are tucks that they go into a junk journal and then they have things tucked in them. So in this one I have two tucks. This one's a photo tuck. It's just a photo with a tab stitched in. I try to put tabs on these things so that they're easy to pull out, especially with fabric tucks. They give a little bit, so you want to make sure you have something you can really hold on to when you're putting them back in. And then this one has a belly band style tuck. And they're stitched together but also glued. I'll show you what I did to get to this point. I'm gonna pick the postcards first. I'm still working on the same hundreds of postcards that I accumulated. I'm trying to pull out the ones that have a bold title. I don't know if you can hear my cat crying, but he's sitting in the window. They're very confused because it's about 3 in the morning and my dog woke me up because he really thought it should be morning time, and I tried to go back to sleep, but I eventually gave up and decided to be productive. So first I did the dishes, and then when I still was wide awake, I decided to do this. So we're going to use these postcards. I'll do a couple of these together so you can see the different versions. I have these tie-dye. I also have this purple. Some of these, I tried to package these together. Oh, my cat's going to make an appearance. That's Oliver. You're always so helpful. I put my material in packs so when I'm doing different themes I don't have to dig so much to find material that's related. I guess I'll do one with the purple and one with a tie-dye, just for variation. Now I'm going to keep the material close by because I will be using more of it. I'm going to go with the red tie-dye. I'm just going to use the postcard for measuring. So I'll glue it down and then cut around it. It's the lazy woman's way. So I have Fabri-Tac here, my go-to glue. I'm sure everybody has a different favorite, but this one is definitely mine. I'm going to spread the glue out. This is a pretty thick material. So I think the glue won't really show through. Plus I'm going to have to put 2 layers of material because it's only one-sided material. The last one I did 2-sided material, so just wondering, do I want to have the rough side? I guess I should have thought about this. I think I'm going to do the rough side with this. Okay. I'm going to make sure it's a little bit more smeared. And I'm just leaving a bit of an edge so I can fray it and make it look a little bit more worn out. I'm going to look at this one too. This will be, you can still see the pattern through it, so it actually works okay for it to be, if I do like this, then the majority of the other side will have pattern, and I don't care if this side has a lot of pattern. It's okay that it's not perfect. I'm making sure to go all the way to the edge with the glue because I don't want it to pull up, but you do have to be mindful if you're going to stitch on it that you don't put too much glue in the area that you're stitching because it will break your needle. I have my trusty Tim Holtz scissors here. They have seen better days. They're so worn out that I have to tighten the screw now to keep it from falling apart on me or being too loose. So I'm just cutting around the edge, leaving enough edge to fray. It doesn't need to be a ton. And I'm going to stitch around, so I'm not going to let it bug me that it's not perfect on the edges. I also don't care about a perfect cut because it's easier to shred fabric that doesn't have a perfect cut on the edge. So to shred it and make it look aged, I'm just going to use my nails. Some people have a variety of devices to rough it up. You can use the edge of your scissors. I know some people will take like the sharp edge and just run it across like that. I usually just use my nails because I have long enough nails to do it, but also I've cut myself so many times with razors and scissors just on the tips of my fingers because I do it mindlessly. I'm not paying attention enough to be doing it with a sharp object. So I did promise to show a picture of our guard turkey, so I'll probably put him somewhere up in that corner. So you can, I should say her, it's a her. Her name's Flower, and she is adorable. She does not like our dog Augie, but she is a guard turkey, so she lives with the ducks and chickens to protect them from wild animals and has had some good scrappers. So I'm going to do some stitching on these, but before I do, I want to add a belly band to one of them. And we may just use these together because I feel like they're close enough in look, or they're the right contrasting colors, I guess is the way to word it. So I want some regular fabric, and then I'm also going to put some lace on it. So when I go to stitch around the edge, I'm going to stitch the belly band on also. And I can just place it with glue so it doesn't move around while I'm sewing. And you can always cut extra edges off later. I have this pile of supplies next to me because I just kind of grabbed a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna put some lace over it. Maybe with a bit of a fringe. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cut it in half and rough it up so it looks a little bit more used. I don't know why I love this look so much, but I really like the wrecked lace look. When you get one side all tore up, I don't know what that means about me, but then when you add it on, it just looks a little bit more grungy. Is that what it is? I don't know. Gotta be careful I don't accidentally completely rip it. I just want to give it that rough edge. So then I want to this way or this way? Yep. Alright, I gotta rough this up too. This fabric is a little easier. My cat is sitting in the chair next to me, staring at me. They're very confused about me being up in the middle of the night, even though they're the ones that woke me up. And I am one of those people that once I wake up, it's over. I just can't go back to sleep. I think that, yeah, that's gonna look rough enough. Okay, let's glue this down. I'm just gonna do a line on each side, remembering that I have to be able to tuck. Back in the day, we had the spindles with names and numbers on them, and my mind is completely blanking on what they were called, but I have a bunch of empty cards from that period, and I've made a lot of like bookmark tuck style things for my junk journaling out of those. It's a little bit bigger than a bookmark, so it doesn't fit all spaces, but I like having a little bit of room to put some decoration on the tags, because I'll cut these edges off after it's stitched. But there we have our tuck, and this one, do I want to stitch it before? What did I do last time? I did put it on before I stitched it, so let's see. Basically, I'm making a pocket like this where I find an image, and you may have seen this in a different video, but I find an image from a book, like a children's book, and stitch fabric onto it to make a tuck, and then glue it onto a bigger tuck. And I like it because when you put an image in there, it gives you the surprise when you pull it out. And it's just one of those little details that makes a difference in how you feel about it when it's done, I guess. I think I'll do the same type of thing and use the reverse color. Then they'll kind of go together if I choose to put them in the same book. So we need a piece of fabric about half the size of this postcard. Notice I don't measure anything. I can always cut it down after the fact if it really bugs me. This book. I love the cover on this book. You can see it. Someday I'm going to use that to make a journal. It's just so pretty. We have a doctor image here. A worried girl. That could be a good one. It just needs to be, it's going to have to kind of peek out, so it can't be too big of an image. If we're looking for something that will peek out of the center of this piece of material. Well, that one's a smaller one. That could work. Or one of the parents, maybe? Oh, that's a little like couple there. We could do that. They're small enough. Alright, I'm going to cut it out of the book first. It'll be easier to maneuver. And get this out of the way. And there's no rocket science to it. I'm just going to place it over there, but I'm going to cut the image, or cut the hole for the image first, so I can line it up and make sure I have it right. So I cut into the fabric. I fold it in half to do it, and then I just cut an oval. I'm sure there are people with fancy tools for working with fabric or getting a perfect hole in theirs. I don't worry about that too much because everything else is messy. The fabric should be too, I kind of feel. So this will give a little peekaboo of them when they pull the tuck. Now I want to make sure I line it up right, so I'm going to actually glue it on before I cut the paper. And remember, we're stitching it, so you don't have to glue it perfectly. You just need to glue it enough to keep it in place for stitching. I think my fabric glue is getting gloppy. I was getting close to finishing a bottle, so I put it in this little tiny bottle, and it's old fabric glue at the bottom of the drudge, so it's time to let it go. But I hate to waste. I go through so much glue. Alright, we're going to try to line this up. I'm going to start on my right side, because it's kind of curled a little bit. I'm going to make sure that ends up flat. And then go over from there. There we go. Oh, that's cute. Alright, now I'm going to cut the paper. Try to cut under the fringes so I don't cut them off, because I love fringe. You could rough this up ahead of time. I didn't think about it. Now I could put something on the top of this to help support where the tuck is going to go in. And maybe I'll match up. I have the leftover lace from the other one. I could put that on the top. I'll use the scissors again. Here I said I didn't use scissors, and now I'm using them for the whole thing. Alright. Now they really look like they're matchy-matchy. Now this, I want to make sure I have enough glue on it, because I'm not going to stitch over the lace. You could, I guess, but I actually have a light string in my sewing machine right now, so it wouldn't show up on there. And I put it on the edge of where I'm going to be doing the tuck. So okay, and we'll cut the edges off after it's sewn. I feel more confident doing that. I don't know why. Leave room for error. Okay, I'm going to sew these and be right back. I've stitched around the edges. can see on this side, it's a clear, like an off-white color, and it just kind of adds a little bit of detail, but you can still read what's written. And then on this side, it's black. I don't remember why I changed it that way, but it is, so that's what we're dealing with. I did make a mistake where this was too big, so I had to cut it down, and I had already stitched the bottom. So I didn't want to cut it off, so I'm going to put something over this to hide my mistake. I also pulled out photos because we're going to need to find a good tuck for our little, for this part here, like to go over the image. And then also I left it so you can tuck on the back side too. So I'm going to glue this down first. I thought about doing it before I turned the camera back on, but you know what? I gotta admit my mistakes sometimes and let people see the process of fixing them, I guess. Can't be perfect. So I just took another piece of the lace that I used before, and I'm going to put it on the seam but in reverse. I guess I should have measured that and cut that ahead of time. I think I put glue too far. That's going to dry. And we're going to look for some tucks. I think these square-sized photos are going to be the best. Let's see if I can get it in there. So they fit pretty well without much overhang. So I just got to find the right one. I have the Eiffel Tower. This one's a wedding one. It's a bit curled, so it doesn't really want to go in there. That could be cute. These are wrong size. These are also from, well, actually, most of these images I got at an antique store in Wisconsin when I was traveling to see one of the kids compete. Oh, I love this. I'm gonna have a hard time using it. I don't know if you can see it on there, but it's a twins picture from, I don't even know. Can't even begin to try to guess a date, but identical twins on a farm. I do have certain things I look for when I'm out picture hunting. I love images that have pets in them because it was so hard to keep them still long enough for them to show up in pictures. And I love twin pictures. And oh, what's the other one that I always pick? Oh, the creepy dolls. I love all the old creepy dolls. Here's a creepy doll one. I don't know. I can't really see the doll in that one. But I found some good ones over the years. So I'm not ready to give those ones up yet. I don't know why. The square ones definitely are the best for this size. Oh, look at him. He's so cute. See, that's another animal one. Oh, here's a creepy doll. Can you see that? Hopefully it focuses on it. Oh, I love them. My mother still has a collection of old dolls, and it scares our kids when they go over there. Well, maybe not anymore. Our kids are all adults now. Can barely even call them kids. I have some more postcards in here. I guess I should mix those with the other ones. Okay, well, I think, seeing as it's a couple's picture, the wedding one probably makes the most sense of the ones I have that fit. So I'm going to set those aside. I want to put a tab on it. I'm going to put a tab on each of these so when they go into the book, whatever journal I put them in, I can easily pull them out. I'm going to cut this off. I promised I would, and then I didn't. So we could use the same material, or we could branch out and use something different. I don't know if anybody has made master boards before, but this is material from making a master board on cloth. And it's a good kind of mix. I don't want a really huge tab. Oh, maybe I should go the other direction. I'm going to try it this way. I want it to be out, but not be an eyesore. I don't want it to be too busy. And I'm going to glue it together so it's a solid. And then you could stitch the edge. I think the last time I did stitch it. But I put it on before I did my sewing last time. I wasn't that organized. I forgot that I did that. So this one, I think, well, I guess, yep, that one's stitched on. Oh, I stitched this one afterwards. Well, now I don't feel so bad. So this one was glued onto it, and then I stitched just over. I just used a different stitch on it, so it didn't look strange that it wasn't stitched at the same time. So I have these for making tabs. I'm just going to make narrow strips here. And then some lace. I do have this lace that we could put on it. Maybe a little dirtier than the other one I used. I have so many scraps of lace floating around. That could be pretty. Since it is a tab, you can make it a little more clumpy because it's the part that's actually going to hang out. Actually, I like that. That's cute. I think we'll do that. This one's got to be on the top. And this one I probably will stitch on just because it's going to need a little bit of something. I could do something that matches where it's going to be tucked, or something less matchy-matchy. Oops. Okay, so I could do something with this, or ooh, I could use this on the edge of each one. It's such a small detail, but I gotta just start gluing and not overthink it. Since I'm gluing this together, I'm just gonna smother the whole thing in glue. I like it to be more solid and flat so it's easy to grab. So I'm gonna put it in this corner. There we go. And then I have scraps here. I'm going to put it on both sides because we're not really decorating these a whole lot, or this part of it. It just gives it a little bit of something. There, now let's see if it'll still go in there. I need to glue that lace down better on the top, and then it won't bug me so much. Well, it doesn't like it, but it works. I'm going to glue this down though, because that will drive me crazy. Oh my gosh. I should really like put my glue bottles upside down in a cup or something instead of fighting with them all the time. Alright, so I'm going to put this, I think I'll put it on the opposite side. I think I'm going to do it here so it's not all hanging out on that side. Yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put glue through the whole inside of this. And I usually smush it together to spread it around. I try not to get too much glue on my hands, but I always get a ton of glue on my hands. It's unavoidable. I want to make sure this overlaps with the postcard a little bit so it's solid. So there's a lot of extra material. There's a lot of extra material on that edge, so I want it to be able to hold on to the... So I could stitch this with like a zigzag stitch. It wouldn't look too bad. But I'm actually just going to put a bunch of junk on it anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. And Fabri-Tac is really strong. If you really are putting Fabri-Tac on to be your stitches, you don't even have to worry about sewing. I'll do the same thing here. Probably gonna run out of the yellow stuff, but this actually was like the bottom of some kind of, was it like one of those doilies that goes on the table maybe? I think it was something like that. Alright, now we need to put one on this guy. Alright, I guess this will work. I might have to find some yellow to go, or some other lace to go with this one, because I only have one more piece of that doily thing left. Oh, I guess I could cut it in half because that's a smaller... Oh, all these revelations. There we go. One thing about having messy ends is you can't necessarily tell what end is the end. Alright, we managed to stretch that little piece. Sweet. Alright, so now we just have to put some tucks in there. I have a collection of tucks I made in a mass make that are looking for homes. So we just have to find ones that will fit the color scheme here. That one kind of does. That could work. I kind of like them to like peek out either underneath or above. They just look cool. So with this one, she kind of looks out from the belly band. That's cute. I like her. Perfect. This one may be a little different. It's going to have to be an image that's on the left side so that the tab here doesn't get in the way of it. Decisions. The tab will need to be on the top too, so guess I don't have a lot that have the tab on the top. This may be our girl. Yeah, that works. Sweet. Alright, so there's our finished postcard projects. Now I'm going to have to start thinking about what to do with all the envelopes that I acquired. That's going to take some creativity. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed making whatever beautiful creations you're making.